Spider-Man 2 is a masterpiece of a game. That's saying something, especially because of how good the first and Miles Morales was. Now, I want to preface by saying before the official review starts, I ain't going to talk about the story because I haven't played through all of it. And the game is still fairly new, and people probably haven't went through the whole game yet, so I'm not going to spoil it for them. The first thing I want to talk about is the traversal. Now, I know people are concerned about that the web swing is going to be the same as the first game, and it was going to be the same but with web wings, but they were completely wrong. The web swing is way more faster and more fun compared to the first game. The amount of speed you can get traveling the city is insane. Also, the different options to gain speed, like using the web wings, the airstreams, spider jumping, makes the traversal around the city more fun than the first two. Also, the assisted swing setting gives me Spider Man 2 vibes, where you could choose between easy web swinging and the normal swinging. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the combat. The combat is way better in this game since there are different ways to fight people. A problem with the first game I had was is that every boss you fought were more or less the same. You would just swing around and shoot webs at the boss or wait until they throw something and then throw it back at them. Rinse and repeat. In Spider-Man 2, you have so many different ways to fight regular enemies and bosses. Like parrying, dodging, you have different abilities, different gadgets. An example of this would be in the lizard fight, where you can either dodge or parry, or it can use your symbiote abilities or your different gadgets that you had. You see, there's more ways to fight bosses than just swing around and shoot webs. And the way the symbiote is handled in this game is perfect. The way that the more Peter uses the suit, the more and more aggressive and angry he becomes to the people around him is what the symbiote is supposed to do to Peter, unlike in Spider-Man 3. Also, I love little details like the more Peter uses the suit and the bigger the symbiote's bond to Peter is, the bigger the spider on his chest and on his back is. Also, I love the scene where Spider-Man talks to Dr. Connors and he's like, but it shows me, Doc. We'd be a better Spider-Man with it. Bro, that scene gave me chills when I first saw it because that epitomizes what like the symbiote do to Peter and why I love the symbiote arc so much. Also, the abilities you get with the Venom is cool too. Now, here are some problems and nitpicks I have with the game. Number one is can't change the time of rudder like in the first game. In the first game, and I'm pretty sure it's the same in Miles Morales, you could change the rudder or the time of day during at the reset stations. But in this game, it's gone. There's no way to change it. You you just play in whatever time of day they make you play. But it's disappointing because if you have the black suit or you have the Spider-Man 3 suit, then you want to play it in the dark, but you can't do that in this game. You can't replay specific missions like in Miles Morales. In Miles Morales, after you beat the game, you could replay any mission you wanted to, whether that was the first mission, the last mission, whatever mission you wanted to play, you could play it. You can't do that in this game. A problem I have with this game is that you can't listen to Jonah's podcast or the Danny cast if you get interrupted. Now, I know in the first game there was a way in the settings to where you could listen to all the podcasts, and I know this ain't a very popular feature in the community. I'm assuming a lot of people don't really care about it, but I don't know about you, but I like listening to the podcast while I'm swinging around. But in this game, you can't listen to the podcast. If you get interrupted for crime or you do a mission or whatever, and the podcast gets interrupted, then it's gone forever. You can't listen to it again. The symbiote suit gets defaulted back to the Insomniac one during missions. Now, in this game, if you want to have the webbed black suit in missions, I don't know about you, but whenever every mission I tried to use the web black suit in missions, it automatically defaults back to the Insomniac one, which is really annoying because why would they give me the option to pick whatever suit I want if it's going to default back to the one that was originally there? Like, why can't I fight the lizard with the webbed black suit? I thought I could, but evidently not. And I don't know. That was disappointing to me. No new game plus in Spider-Man 2. As of right now, there's no new game plus right now. I heard that they're going to be adding in later on, but for right now, there's no new game plus. But disappointing because if you unlocked everything and you got there all the abilities and gadgets or whatever, and you want to start a new game, unfortunately, you can't play with all your new gadgets because there's no new game plus right now. Different glitches slash bugs. Now, I haven't had any game breaking glitches. Like I've seen some people transform into a cube. I've seen that on Twitter and various other glitches, but I haven't experienced any of that. But I have seen glitches to where like enemies would spawn inside of walls, or I've seen bugs where the game would teleport me back into another part of the room. Like I was doing the mission where you're in Dr. Connor's house and you're walking around there, and I was in the living room playing with the little keyboard, and all of a sudden they teleported me back into his room, and it weirded me out because I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, and that just makes it have an unpolished kind of feeling. Spider-Man 2's gameplay is really fun between the different improvements and the traversal and the combat. The symbiote portion of the game is really good as well. Hell, even the MJ missions are actually fun to play. But I wish they had features that the first two games had, like changing the rudder or picking a specific mission to replay again. All in all, my rating for Spider-Man 2 is a 9 out of 10, and you should pick it up.